Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Ifeoma Samuel. If you're new around here, feel free to click the subscribe button as well as press the notification bell. Okay, so over here we do more of Bible studies, video devotionals, as well as prayer and important topics that would help you improve in your faith. Okay, so today we'll be talking about why people don't slay their giants, which is a part of our giant slaying series. Okay, so if you are still new, I encourage you to go to the blog purposefulandmeaningful.com so that you have the text, okay, that accompanies these video sessions. All right, so today, as I said, we'll talk about the number one reason why people don't slay their giants. We'll be looking at three different characters. Okay, so in our previous episodes, we looked at David, okay, and Goliath. That's our anchor story. And today we would look at First Samuel chapter 17, and the verse of interest here is verse 11. Okay, what does it say? It says that, and Saul and Israel, okay, heard those words, that's of course the words of Goliath, okay, of the Philistine, and they were dismayed and greatly afraid. You see, now that is where we're going to. That's just the main juice. That's the number one reason why people don't slay their giants. Now, after all those words of torment and threats and all the appearances, as we spoke earlier, had intimidated successfully the Israelites army, it didn't give them enough courage, okay, to kind of get up and go and fight. As we see, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Not a small fear, like great fear was eminent, okay, in the camp of the Israelites. Now, I also want us to look at Esther, okay, another of our favorite characters in this giant slaying series. Esther chapter 4 and verse 10. I'll focus on this verse for the purpose of this video. Verse 10 says, and Esther spake unto Hathach and gave him a commandment unto Mordecai. In verse 11 now, which is where we are looking at, it says, all of the king's servants and all of the provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, okay, there is one law of his to put him to death. Like if the king doesn't allow you to come close to him and you kind of make your approach, he can have you terminated. Now, Esther was given that excuse. After she heard of Mordecai renting his clothes, putting on ash and going on the street, she sent her servant to go find out what's going on. And Mordecai said, money, ransom has been paid for our heads because we are Jewish. And Esther says, oh, you know what? I can't like go to meet the king because XYZ, there's a law. And of course, she was afraid for her life. Now, you're seeing the very reason why many of us don't confront giants, because we are afraid. Mostly because we're afraid for our lives. And many of us spend our lives living on our knees. Okay, living on our knees, not in terms of prayer, but in terms of being on the oppressed, or on the situation where we have to be at the mercy of other people, or at the mercy, to be specific, of the giants in our lives. Okay, so moving on, the last character I would like us to meet is in the book of Judges, Judges chapter 6. And I love this part of Judges because it shows how many of us are on the inside. It shows every one of us, okay? Like the angel comes to meet Gideon. Judges chapter 6 is about Gideon and the Midianites. And the Midianites have been oppressing the Israelites. And of course, Gideon was unhappy. Nobody will be happy if they are being plundered by the enemy. No sane person will be comfortable if he or she has their people or her people are being destroyed by the enemy, and you feel helpless and powerless. Now Gideon, in verse 13, we see the angel in verse 12, you see the angel approaching and, calling him, oh, great man of valor. And that's something that I love about God. God sees us, he has a foreknowing. He knows, he sees our strength. He knows what he has deposited inside of us. So the angel greets him in the warrior tone, because God already knows that in you is a warrior. So sitting here in you is a deposit of God inside of your life, a deposit of the warrior spirit, okay, a deposit of someone who is going to rise up and face that giant. Okay, so reading from here, we see the angel greeting him, oh, thou, okay, the Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. He has not gone for the war yet. Okay, so I don't want to deviate, so let's just stick to this particular, what we're trying to find out here. He said, and Gideon said unto him, oh my Lord, if the Lord is be with us, why then has all these things been following us? He is really not happy. So he's like telling God that if you are really with us, we shouldn't be facing what we are facing. We shouldn't be completely wasted by the enemy. We should, be on top. We should have our heads above the waters. So in this case, many of us are unhappy with our situation. And that is the truth. Many of us are not happy going through what we are going through. But look at 14. And the angel looked at him and said, okay, good. Now go in this your might. Now we are so angry and bitter about a situation, but we kind of don't want to do anything about it. And then the angel said, okay, go. In this, in this situation where you are in this mindset and in this mind frame, you should get up and go and confront what you are going through. And that's it. That's the wake-up call for many of us. That's the wake-up call for many of us. Then we see in verse 14, okay, and the Lord looked upon him and said, okay, go in this thy might. Okay, now moving on to verse 15, he comes up with excuses. Oh, my family is the least. Like we are very, very poor. And when I read that verse, I was like, oh my God, this is pure human nature. This is just us. This is just so me. Like, and God says, get up, and they're like, oh, Lord, I can't speak right. Lord, who's gonna listen to me? Lord, I'm inequipped. Oh Lord, what if my life is at stake? And we come up with several excuses. So you see, we come up with several excuses. Okay, so we move on. After his excuses, okay, you find out in verse 16, the Lord still reassures him. Okay, and the Lord said unto him, surely I will be with you. And some of us need that reassurance today. We need to be reassured. Guess what? He goes to 17 and then he says, give me a sign. I love Gideon because he was just plain open and being vulnerable to the Lord and saying, God, you've got to give me a sign now. Okay, so the number one reason why we are not confronting our fears, okay, or confronting the giants is because we are scared. Okay, so that's like, we're not confronting those things because we are scared. We are scared that we are not good enough. We are scared that our lives might go for it. It brings me to what is going on currently, okay, the George Floyd's case. And for me, one of the biggest lessons and biggest takeaway here is that when we rise up and speak against evil, we kind of have that voice, okay, not just only the voice, the change that we want to see starts to happen. Okay, the change that we want to see starts to happen. It's teaching us, this situation is teaching us to speak up in the face of evil. Okay, speak up in the face of evil. And that is how we start to defeat that giant. That's how we start to defeat that giant. So in our personal lives, also, the George Floyd case is teaching every one of us, okay, to wake up and confront evils going on in our personal lives. Wake up and confront situations that are unpleasant. Okay, maybe it's a bad habit, maybe it's an oppression of the enemy, maybe it's sickness, whatever. Things that we need to stand in the place of prayer. We need to wake up to, to confront those things. This whole situation, this whole the protest and people speaking up, like never before. People are like putting all over social media. This whole thing is teaching us, the importance of standing up, not only in societal picture or in the social injustices and all that going on in the world, but also in our personal life, in our faith life. Okay, so the number one thing that is probably holding you back, my friend, is fear. And the earlier we rise up against that fear, the better and the easier we defeat the Goliath in our lives. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, there are still other things that prevent people. Yes, there's still other limitations, okay, confronting us from defeating the enemy. And I want you to go to the blog, purposefullymeaningful.com. It's going to be the recent post, and I'll also add that to the description box in this video. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget to share, leave a comment, and let me know how this Bible study series has been a blessing. God bless you.